Hi guys, it's Alvi with House of Color. Welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be my 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38 week pregnancy update video. This will probably be my final pregnancy update video because we are getting so close to the end and I will probably be induced next week. I'll get into the details in the video, but I just want to let you know that this will most likely be my last pregnancy update video. So the last video I had out was up to 31 weeks, and since then I have not released a pregnancy update video. If you guys have been following my vlogs, then you would know that I've encountered some issues and I've been very exhausted and things like that. So it hasn't really allowed me to film these pregnancy update videos every week, and I just kind of felt like the symptoms were getting a little redundant. So anyway, I am back now with this big update, and there has been a whole lot of things that has happened since, so this might be a little bit longer of a video. So if you guys want to grab something to drink and hang out with me while I go through my list of symptoms, please keep watching. Okay, so since my last video, my weight gain has been, I want to say, I think I was 112, 113 pre-pregnancy, and now I am at 137, 138. So that would put me at about a 25 or 27 pound weight gain so far. And towards the end of your pregnancy, that's when you gain the most. Baby is supposed to be gaining about half a pound a week, and I feel like this last month I've been just putting on the weight a lot. With my last pregnancy with Preston, I think I gained about 27 to 30 pounds. So I'm in the same weight gain range as last pregnancy, although I do feel like I am a lot heavier and look bigger this time around. But as far as weight gain is concerned, I have been gaining the same amount of weight as last pregnancy. Snoring. So snoring has been such a big issue, you guys, and I feel like the last couple weeks it's become more of an issue. I don't know why, but I have been snoring like a beast, and it's so embarrassing and it's so not sexy at all, and it's just ridiculous, and I cannot help it. It's so bad to the point where it wakes me up when I'm sleeping. It's just so embarrassing, and I'm snoring so loud, and I feel like it's just like because I hear myself snoring when I sleep, and it wakes me up, and I catch myself doing it. You know, it's so funny because the last flight I took, I was sitting in the aisle seat next to this lady, and I fell asleep, and of course my mouth is like wide open, so I'm like sleeping and I hear myself snoring so loud, and I look and I open my eyes and I see her staring at me like in disgust, and I'm just like, I'm so sorry. I'm thinking to myself, I'm so sorry. You know what? This is not my normal behavior, but I'm pregnant and I can't help these things, you know? So it's just like a pregnancy thing, I guess. I hope it doesn't last, because I know when I was pregnant with Preston last time, I was kind of snoring too, but it wasn't this crazy. So I hope once baby comes out, I'm not going to be snoring as crazy anymore, because this will be a really ugly habit and a really like disgusting trait to have. I am starting to prep for the baby. We don't have a name yet. We have a few that we're thinking of going with, but it's just so hard to decide, and yeah, we don't really have a name for him yet. We're starting to prep for the baby, and actually I should have started prepping already because we're at 38 weeks now and I can go into labor at any time. I haven't packed my hospital bag yet, which I am going to get around to today. I have to start pulling out all my pump stuff because I do plan on pumping again. I hope this time around with my breastfeeding journey and my nursing, it will go a lot smoother than last time, because I feel like last time I kind of had a rough start to it, and That was mainly because I was a new mom. I didn't know what I was doing and I was stressed out, and there was a lot of factors that went into why it was so hard for me. And you know, breastfeeding is just really hard in general. So yeah, so hopefully this time around it won't be as difficult. And I heard that after your first pregnancy, your milk comes in a lot faster. And if I remember correctly, last time my milk, it didn't take that long to come in. I think I got my milk on the third day or something like that. So I have to pull out all the pump parts and get it sanitized and ready to go, and I am totally dreading it, which is why I've decided that this time around I'm gonna try to nurse more instead of going straight to pumping, because I think nursing will be more convenient for me because I don't have to pump and then somebody has to watch the baby while I pump, and after I pump then I have to transfer it to milk bags and put in the freezer, and then when I want to use it then I have to take it out and warm it up and all that good stuff. So I am definitely going to try to nurse more this time around, but I know that I will have to leave the baby, and so I will have to have milk on standby for him. So that's why I will have to get my milk supply going and have some on reserve and ready to go for the new baby. I bought a new pump this time around. I did get my pump with my insurance last time, so my insurance gave me the Medela pump in style, which is the one that plugs up to the wall, and I was basically a slave to the wall. Anywhere I went, I looked for an outlet. That was like my first and main thing that I looked for, because I needed to pump everywhere I went. And if you guys kept up with my vlogs last year, you guys know I was pumping everywhere, in public restrooms, airplanes, basically anywhere and everywhere, because I was very religious and strict about that pumping routine. So this time around, however, I got a new breast pump. It is called the hands-free Medela breast pump. I actually got it off of Facebook, so I didn't pay the whole, I think it's like $600 for the pump, because the pump is very, very expensive. I would highly recommend you guys, any of you guys out there, if you want to pump, to buy it off of like Facebook Marketplace or something like that, and save yourself some money, because I spent about $100 on this new breast pump, and it's the one where you can just charge and walk around, and it's going to be life-changing. I didn't even know they made it actually until I saw my friend walk around while she was pumping, and I'm like, how are you doing that? Because I'm literally stuck to an outlet for 30 minutes, you know what I mean? And it's just so inconvenient. I'm very excited to use that because it'll let me live a little bit more and attend to the baby and things like that, and let me do things that I need to do around the house while I pump. And a funny story was, so I contacted this girl on my Facebook Marketplace, and she was selling the breast pump. And when we met up, she's like, hey, do you do YouTube? And I was like, yes, I do actually. And she's like, oh my gosh, how funny, because when I was trying to pump, I was searching for videos on YouTube and your video came up. So I actually watched your video on how to get my milk supply up and things like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, how crazy, and what a coincidence, you know? So it was really cool, and I got to meet her, and she sold me her breast pump, and it was like brand spanking new. As far as pain goes, I was having major back pains a couple weeks ago, and I think the pain has really subsided because I don't feel that bad in my back anymore. Although I do have a very heavy load with the baby bump. It is still though very difficult to sleep at night. I do have to sleep on my left side, and we do co-sleep with Preston, and he's always wanting me to hold him all night long. So it is very difficult to sleep, but I try to sleep as much as I can between holding the baby, being pregnant, and getting up every like hour or so to pee. Yeah, sleeping has not been the ideal situation for me. It's been hard to walk. So I do notice that getting up and down and bending down, you guys, I really have to question things if I need to pick it up, because if it doesn't need to be picked up right away, I'm not going to do it, because it's so hard to bend down and get back up. One of my subscribers recommended that I get this pickup stick thingy, and it has saved my life, you guys. I went to Daiso and I purchased it, and good Lord, that thing has been so handy. And you know, I'm the type of person that I can't stand having things all over the floor. Preston's toys are always all over the floor, and of course I try to teach him to clean up after himself after he plays with his toys, but you know, sometimes he doesn't get all the toys, so I have to end up picking it up after him. And this tool is so handy because I just use it to pick up everything, and I don't have to bend down, and I don't have to rely on anybody to pick up the stuff for me. So it has been a godsend. So thank you, Ashley, for recommending that tool to me, because without it I would probably be very cranky because I don't like a messy house. It's been hard to walk. The big belly is just hanging there, and there's a lot of weight and things like that, and so it's been harder to walk. And I feel like the last couple weeks, between I want to say 33 to 36 weeks, it was very hard for me to eat. I've expressed to you guys in my past videos that I couldn't really hold a lot of food in my stomach because maybe the way the baby was positioned, I just could not eat a lot, and it was very frustrating because I was very hungry, but I couldn't eat. The last 2 weeks, I want to say, it's been such a relief because I've been able to eat a lot more, and I get very hungry, so I do like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and lots of snacks in between, and I don't have the super full feeling like I used to. So I think he's kind of moved and allowed me to eat a lot more, which is amazing because I love to eat, and he's so small. Eating has been a lot better lately. My cold and sweet carbonated drinks has kind of fizzled out. I don't really crave for that anymore. Now I am into apple juice with ice. So that's been kind of my drink lately, and it's just so refreshing, and the crisp of the apple with ice and all that good stuff is just like, so yummy. I am breathing heavily. I do have shortness of breath, especially when I talk and, you know, doing videos and things like that. You can probably hear in my breath. I did a haul and I was totally out of breath, and all of you guys called me out for it, and I'm like, yeah, I know, you guys, I'm pregnant, so it's really hard for me to talk and keep the energy up. I feel like the baby dropped, but when I went to go in to see my doctor, she checked me and she said baby has not dropped, and that was, I want to say, a week ago. It could have changed now, but I don't think so. Up until last week, the baby kicks were very, very strong, and lots of it. Ever since my 37th week hit, I have not felt the baby kick as much, and I talked about it with my doctor, and she said that it was because, you know, and a lot of women feel this, is because that there's not a lot of room in there, so that's why the kicks has gone down. But as long as baby is doing the kick counts, which is at least 10 kicks per hour, then I really shouldn't have anything to worry about. But of course, I'm still worried because I'm a mom, and you know, I've read horror stories about things like that, and I don't want to talk about it because it's just a lot of negative energy. And you know, when you're pregnant, you try not to focus on the negative things and just try to be more focused on the positive side of things, because when you think or read or watch or surround yourself with negativity, it really affects the baby. So I try not to read and, you know, watch those kind of things, but of course it comes around. But anyway, my baby kicks has kind of slowed down. So I wanted to talk to you guys about what was happening with me when I hit about 34 or 35 weeks. If you guys have been following my vlogs, then you already know the situation with my pregnancy so far. So when I went in for my I want to say 34 or 35 week visit, the doctor had ordered an ultrasound for me because last pregnancy with Preston, I had very low fluids, and they had to start seeing me twice a week for NSTs, which is non-stress test, and do ultrasounds on me every single week because my fluid levels were so low, and I was ordered to be on strict bed rest for my last 2 months of pregnancy. She kept that into consideration and keep an eye out for me on that with this pregnancy. So she sent me in for an ultrasound and checked my liquids. My fluids came back fine, but she said that the baby measured very, very small. So he measured at about the 7th percentile. And she said because the baby is measuring so small, she wanted to see me twice a week just to make sure that baby is growing properly. And it could be that I'm just carrying a small baby, which she said, you know, that's a very high possibility because Preston was only 5 pounds 14 ounces when he was born, and he was 39 weeks the day he was born. So anyway, I have been going to the doctors twice a week now, and every week we do an ultrasound, and then I do a Nonstress test, and then I see the doctor afterwards. So it's a very long appointment every single time. So I go in every Tuesdays for that, and then on Fridays I just do the NSTs and I see the doctor. I think one of the appointments I did an ultrasound and my fluids measured at a 5, which is crazy because it's very, very borderline. And had I seen my doctor that day, I think she would have sent me into the hospital to hook up an IV to me right away. The doctor told me that I was to double my intake of water because the fluid levels were so low. Between a 5 and a 10 is considered, well, 5 is very, very low, and it's like the cutoff, the absolute cutoff. And 5 is low, 6, 7 is still kind of low, normal, and then 8, 9, 10 is like normal. I measured at a 5 at that time, and I was very stressed out because I'm like, gosh, here we go again. You know, I'm gonna be on bed rest and I have to drink 2 gallons of water a day. Like, no joke, you guys, when I was pregnant with Preston last time, I had to drink 12 bottles of water a day, and that was in a 12-hour period. And then at night I would have to drink, you know, like whatever amount of water I could intake for the night. Even when I did that, my fluid levels were just barely hanging in there. Every time I went in for an ultrasound, it would measure at a 6 or a 7, and you know, a 7 was like amazing for me. But luckily this time around, all the water intake that I was doing really helped because I was measuring at a 7 and then a 10, and the last time I went in for an ultrasound, they measured my fluids and it was at a 7, so that was pretty decent. They've been monitoring me twice a week now, and I just got back from my doctor's appointment. Oh, and you guys, I forgot to mention to you, but this whole time I thought my due date was March 20th, but actually it's March 22nd. So this whole time I thought every Tuesday I would turn a week, but it was actually every Thursday. So putting these videos out on Fridays was actually perfect because that's when I completed the whole week cycle. But anyway, today's Friday and yesterday was Thursday, meaning I just turned 38 weeks, and I had my doctor's appointment this morning. We did an NST and I saw the on-call doctor because my doctor was off today. So baby did fine on the NST, and the doctor told me that on Tuesday when I go back in again, I'm gonna see my doctor and we're gonna talk about what we're gonna do with the birth plan. So the last time I spoke with my doctor, she said that we will probably induce you at 39 weeks. And I'm thinking, well, you know, if you guys are going to induce me anyway, like, can you just induce me today? I was hoping they would induce me today, but they want me to go to 39 weeks and let the baby bake in there a little bit longer. I've been looking up a lot of remedies to induce myself into labor. So I was Googling it, and it talked about lots of walking can help induce labor. So I'm gonna try to do some walking, even though it's very, very hard to do any sort of walking because I feel like I get a lot of shortness of breath. I'm so tired. So I'm gonna try to do some walking, maybe not push myself, but definitely walking. They said like some sort of primrose oil. I don't know, I probably won't do that one. Red raspberry leaf tea. Ideally, you guys, I want to go into labor naturally. I want my water to break, and I just want to have the baby naturally. I don't want an epidural or anything like that. I don't want any medication in my body, because I remember when I went to labor with Preston, I had so much like medication going inside of my body, and the epidural, I think it really affected me because my back was hurting for like 2 weeks after I gave birth, and I just don't think it's very normal. So anyway, hopefully between now and next Friday, I'm gonna try to induce labor myself and see if any of these things work. It talks about nipple stimulation is supposed to help, so I guess I'll just like rub my nipples all day. I'm just kidding. It says have sex a lot. Castor oil is a classic natural induction tool. Dates is supposed to help, so eating lots of dates. And also pineapple. I heard pineapple is supposed to ripen the cervix. I am going to go out and buy probably 2 pineapples and just eat that. And luckily I have really been into pineapples, so that's not going to be a problem at all. I will gladly eat 3 pineapples if that's what it takes. And then it also says get pampered. Also acupuncture and massages also help to induce labor. I'm gonna try and do all those things, and hopefully it'll start some labor contractions, because right now I'm not feeling any sort of contractions or any signs of labor at all. So we need to get this ball rolling and get this baby out and safe and happy and healthy in the most natural way as possible. So anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in to my pregnancy update videos. I know a lot of you guys have been following along because you're pregnant too. So thank you guys so much for following along with me on this pregnancy journey. I cannot believe that we're coming to an end, and you guys, we're gonna have a baby soon. I'm so excited. Probably for the next sit down, it's going to be my labor and delivery story, and I'll introduce to you the new prince of the family. And yeah, you guys, that's it. Thank you so much for following along with me on this journey, and thank you for all your sweet comments and in my vlogs. I know, like, I have been very emotional, and I just wanted to thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for keeping us in your prayers and for all your warm and loving support and such great comments to lift my spirits. And that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe and give this video a like, and I will see you next time. Bye. You guys, I almost forgot to show you my bump. So this is the 38-week bump, and I am wearing a crop top. Here is the 38-week bump situation. As you can see, we've grown tremendously since the last baby update. Look at the little baby. And you guys, this time around, my line isn't as dark as last time. I'm totally surprised.